While certain aspects of my life was typical, what wasn't typical, obviously, is the fact that as a child I was charged as an adult and sentenced to life without possibility of parole.
The impetus of this study was really that states now had to start thinking about resentencing and releasing juvenile lifers across the country.
Pennsylvania was the state that incarcerated the most juvenile lifers across the U.S., and they also were the state that took the lead in resentencing.
We looked at recidivism outcomes for approximately 174 released juvenile lifers, and of those 174, only 2 had been reconvicted of a new offense, and both of these were really low-level offenses.
I was toxic. I was becoming very toxic for reasons that I wouldn't even get into until way later as an adult.
People now feel like the system has been too carceral. People now believe that even someone who's involved in a terrible crime is capable of change.
For this project, what we wanted to do was really understand the lives of juvenile lifers. So we used a life course perspective to learn about their lives before they were incarcerated as children, during their time incarcerated, and then of course their experiences with reentry.
We have surveyed over 100 of these individuals to get a sense of what their reentry experiences have been like. And we are currently conducting in-depth interviews with many members of this population to really understand and contextualize their experiences and their needs.
Came out, I started with an awning company, putting up awnings. Then I started making awnings. It increased my value, increased my skill set.
I currently work for the Campaign for Fair Sentencing of Youth. When I first came home, I worked in reentry. It wasn't a struggle as much with the employment, but it was a struggle to get recognized for my ability.
Fortunately, you know, Mom and Dad had a house, so I moved in with them. I promised my dad 2 years. I said, I'll be with you for 2 years. After 2 years, I'm gonna find my own place, and I found my own place.
Coming out of prison after serving 2 decades in prison, so I wasn't prepared for just the awe and the technology and just the indifference.
One of the biggest challenges for them has been developing and maintaining relationships, right? They were incarcerated as children and now they're coming out as adults, as grown men and women. And developing and sustaining and navigating relationships seems to be a real challenge for some of them.
It's this weird dynamic. It's clear that I'm a stranger to my own family, and likewise they to me.
I think most people in criminal justice are shocked that the level of recidivism among juvenile lifers is so incredibly low. The fact that over 70% of them managed to be employed after they came out is impressive. You know, I'm not so sure they all had perfect jobs, but it's still impressive. You've taken people who often went to jail before there were cell phones, hadn't completed their educations, even in high school, probably were doing poorly in an academic situation, had extremely limited opportunities while in custody.
Another thing that we want to think about when we consider the length of incarceration is how old individuals are when we release them into society. We want to ensure that we release them at a point in life where they have the opportunity to find gainful employment and to make a meaningful contribution to society.